everybody, it's your boy Marcus Norman from Gentleman Style Podcast, your host of the #1 podcast coming to you live in America. And today we have the incredible Mr. Alvin Johnson, who is a serial entrepreneur. He's doing so many big things. He runs a multi-family property business. He owns a contracting business. He runs a multi-family monopoly, which we'll get into a little bit here. And he's also building communities and affordable housing to give back with his nonprofit Hope Foundation and he's leading the path and changing his community one house, one home at a time. Mr. Alvin Johnson is the president of the Hope Housing Foundation and guides his team of assertive management group to newer and successful higher heights. This privately owned property management firm, he is absolutely phenomenal. His foundation is headquartered in McKinney, Texas, which is a 501(c), and it was established in 1998. The Hope Foundation has a business model that positions itself as one of the most effective nonprofit affordable workforce housing organizations in the country. Mr. Alvin is also the president and CEO of Multifamily Monopoly, an education platform which is designed to give my audience, serious real estate investors, all the tools necessary to develop and acquire their own multifamily apartment building. So, coming to the stage, help me welcome the incredible, the phenomenal, the amazing Mr. Alvin Johnson, president of Hope Foundation. Yay!
Man, I don't know who that dude is that you were just talking about, but he sounds pretty dope to me.
It's all you, brother. You are amazing. That was all you. Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Thank you for coming to the Gentleman Style Podcast platform and just giving back and serving in this way. I appreciate you, brother.
Thank you, Mr. Norman. It's my pleasure, man. It's I remember this old man told me, if you didn't have what you need, then you need to become that for somebody else because somebody else has that need. So that's what I'm trying to do.
That's a fact. That's an absolute fact. And you are leading. You are a pioneer and changing the game forever. What inspired you? I feel like there's some story here. What inspired you to start your nonprofit and really start this nonprofit organization, the Hope Foundation?
Well, I didn't start this one. I was voted in as a president in 2010, but I had started a nonprofit prior to this because I was really good, Marcus, at the education of teaching people how to do mortgages. So I was in the mortgage business prior to this assignment. And being in the mortgage business, I prided myself in when my people went to the table, they knew what they were signing. They knew they weren't getting any bad mortgages. So I thought, man, there's got to be a way that I can pay my fair share of taxes, but do this through a nonprofit so that I can provide education to other people. So that's how I started my first nonprofit back in 2000. So that's where the idea came from of buying HUD houses that were slated for nonprofits at 50 cents on the dollar and taking those homes and repurposing them and selling them back through the nonprofit to homeowners and passing on equity to them. That's what started the idea of the nonprofit. And then I got with a mentor, a guy that I had prayed for years, man. Just God, man, give me a mentor. I need one as a husband. I need one as a businessman. And this guy filled all of those seats for me. And he told me, Alvin, that's cute, what you want to do with your nonprofit. But, if you really want to know what to do with a nonprofit, come hang out with me for 30 days. So that 30-day assignment turned into 13 months. And when he died, I actually became the president of $1.5 billion company through the service. I went there as a volunteer, and 13 months later, I was the president. So I applied myself, and I learned a lot, man, through that. It was amazing.
That is amazing. You were directly thrown into the hot seat. Meanwhile, you were being mentored and nurtured and guided along the way. Dare I ask, this gentleman, was he a brother? Was he one of us?
No.
Okay, and he still gave back.
I've never had any black people help me.
Ooh.
I'm just being honest. I've never had a black businessman say, Alvin, let me help you. Alvin, let me give you some money. Alvin, let me give you a loan. Alvin, let me partner with you. Never.
That's major. That's major. And that is what needs to change. That's what needs to change in our current, especially in today. We got with the George Floyds of the world, with everything that's happening. That's major. And I'm glad you said that.
Well, what I hope, Marcus, is with all the attention going around, there are a lot of great people of color that have dynamic businesses. And I don't want to be the guy that gets money just because I'm Black. No, because I'm a great businessman. But if you have to give it to a Black person, then I don't mind it being me, because we do have a great business.
That makes sense. I like that. I like that. You all are tuning in to Gentleman Style Podcast. If you are just tuning in, we have the incredible Mr. Alvin Johnson of the Hope Foundation, big time real estate investor. I wanted to say mogul, but I can't even think of the word. I don't think it's been invented for you yet, sir.
Regular guy.
Regular guy and humble, y'all. He's regular humble. Guy. And so if you're tuning in, please like, share, and subscribe. We have to spread this man and uplift him and get the word out. Mr. Johnson,
yes, sir.
What does your foundation, why does it focus on an affordable workforce housing, and why is that so important to you? What's the need that you're seeing out there as you work and as you build and as you grow and develop?
Okay, that's a big question, and I'll tell you. A lot of people ask, how can I get started in business? Or what can I do to add value? Or how do I scale? And I'll say this, we are paid by the problems that we solve, not by what we do, right? So if I'm working at McDonald's, I'm solving a hunger problem, I'll make $5 an hour because there's a Taco Bell next door. If I'm a heart surgeon, then I'm paid really well because, it's a life-saving operation. True. Well, so what we have tried to do is, when I started in this organization, we had no money. We had a resume of doing work, but not under my leadership. So we basically started from zero, and my credit was jack. The credit bureaus told me don't even pull my credit no more because I know better. Wow. So when we started, I had to figure out a way to cure a problem. So I found a broken partnership that needed somebody to step in and be the replacement general partner. So we stepped into that seat only owning 0.01% of a 110 unit development, but it was the controlling 0.01%, managing partner. So we started our management company there, and from there we took over control. And I bought that deal for $1.4 million. I didn't have no money, but I saw literally almost 100 investors flew into that little property, met me in that little city. And finally, we secured an investor for $1.4 million. And today that property is worth $7 million. So we worked really hard and applied ourselves and again, worked hard. We just did the work. Nobody's going to save you. So why is that important to me? So many people are paycheck to paycheck. So many people can't afford $1,500 a month rent. And man, I just saw a need. And really, to be honest with you, blatantly honest, this is what I had to work with. I had an organization that a guy said, Alvin, here's an organization. If you put a board in place, you can go work. If anybody can do something with this deal, you can. Okay, great. Let's take it. I didn't have anything else to do because my life, I had just gotten fired from my job after walking that bankruptcy through. And this was all I had. I got an organization with a resume. Let's change the name and let's go buy some apartments. So I needed to eat. So there was a sense of desperation. And that's it. Here's an opportunity. Here's a problem. And I'm desperate to eat. So let's get creative and figure out a way to make it happen. And that's what we did.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You all are tuning into Gentleman Style Podcast. Please stay tuned. We're going to go to a quick commercial break. We will be right back. We got to go pay some bills, y'all. Got to pay them bills. We'll be right.
I'm Marcus Norman, bringing fresh vibes to hot topics surrounding culture, relationships, business, finance, sex, dating, faith, and everything in between. Whether you're into passive income opportunities, trending topics and useful relationship tips, or dynamic guest speakers, there's something for everyone. You can expect all that and more every week. If you're down with this content, then consider joining our growing community by subscribing to Gentleman Style Podcast and smash the bell to get on our VIP list. Your support means the world. Thanks for watching. Link to my channel.
Hey everyone, this is Marcus Norman from Gentleman Style Podcast, and today we have the amazing, the incredible, the incredible Alvin Johnson. This man is powerful, and he's dropping jewels and nuggets, not all the tea, but some tea to help us get to a better place and understand. It's a mindset shift. I'm learning a lot already. It sounds like a huge mindset shift that you had to undertake in order to grow and develop and to build what you are today. And congratulations, by the way, on being a John Maxwell certified public speaker.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
That's major. So what is it about multifamily? You are a talented brother. I see everything on the wall. Hope Foundation, multifamily monopoly, the monopoly cards. Why real estate? You could do anything you set your mind to. I can already tell that you would dominate that industry. Why real estate?
It's all I know. And because it's all I know, then I'm going to go be the best at it. If I had to reinvent myself today and go try to be a tech guy, I'd figure it out. But why go waste that time? You know, so many times people are looking for their best opportunity, when a lot of times the best opportunity that they have is the one that's right in front of them or what they're already doing. Maximize where you are in that particular space and go be great. And then you can take your money and go do something else if you want to. But so many people want to go do what everybody else is doing because it looks like everybody else is having fun doing it. When if you just sit down where you are and just go be great, then you'll make some money and go do something else. But that's just me.
That's true. That is very true. And you actually, I think you do more than most. Because there's the Grant Cardones of the world and there's all the other big real estate tycoons, but you actually give back and you actually really strive to give back to your community and educate so other people can follow in your humble footsteps. What's your favorite type of real estate? I'm assuming multifamily, but I could be wrong. What's your favorite type of real estate and why?
It is multifamily, but I'll tell you, I've got a construction background. So the reason I liked the older apartments was because we get an opportunity to go in and take one man's trash and make a treasure out of it. You know, one man's trash is another man's treasure. So our barrier for entry was so high going try to buy 100 apartments, 10, 15 million, whatever it costs. I had to find something that was broken. Again, the broken partnership, a distressed property, or something that's horrible looking. And because I enjoy the fix process, the fix up process, that's what I liked. And then the reason I really like the multifamily is only because, well, not only because, but if you've got 100 units or 2 units and you've got 2 units empty in the 100 units, I'm still 98% occupied. If I got a duplex with 2 empty, then I have no income. And honestly, it's easier to go buy 100 units with 10 million than it is to buy your personal home. It really is easier.
Whoa. So break that down. It's easier to buy 100 units than a single family house that someone can live in. Please break that down. Help me.
So the loan for the 100 unit apartments, let's assume it's 10 million. But you have 100 people paying. So the chances of that loan going bad with 100 people paying are very, very slim to none. On a single family home, if you lose your job, the bank ain't gonna get paid. So they would much rather give you 10 million than 100,000. And it costs them the same amount of money to push paper. It's the same amount of paperwork. They'd much rather give you a $10 million loan because they think you don't need it than a $100,000 loan because they know you need it.
Ooh.
So it's easier.
Ooh, that's a gem. That's a gem. That's a gem, y'all. I told you, Mr. Alvin, Mr. Alvin Johnson. I got my pen and paper, brother. Oh my God. And the beauty of this is this is my shows. I get to steal all these nuggets and watch it again.
That's right.
So that's a gem, and that's powerful, and that's true. But there are some other costs, bigger costs, right? There's some extra inspections that come along with owning a multi-unit building. Can you explain some of those hidden costs, on what people should kind of mentally prepare for before investing in a big apartment building? Let's go there.
Well, let's say this first. If you've got some listeners that are interested in doing a big deal, I don't recommend doing what I did. I don't recommend jumping off of the Golden Gate Bridge and figuring out how to fly on the way down. That's what I did. But I ain't had nothing to lose. So if I would, but I don't recommend smart people do that. What I recommend smart people do is to get with somebody that's already doing it, become a part of a syndication deal, learn it, and then go out and do it on your own. But to answer your question, so we've got appraisal fees that are typically $5,000 on an apartment complex, where on your single family home maybe $450 or $500. We've got environmental reports, phase 1 environmentals to make sure it's clean. That's about.
You there?
Investment, and those reports are about $5,000. So you're going to spend probably about 40 grand getting all of your inspections and stuff in place before you close. But you don't spend that money until you know you've got a contract that you can actually close on. So, you don't get to that. You don't get to spending money until you don't go out and spend 40 grand and then figure out it doesn't work. So once you figure out that it can work, and then you engage a lender, that lender will tell you if it'll work before you start spending that money, because everybody's got the data. And then, you'll basically pay all those fees to the lender because they order all the reports. And that's not until you're getting ready to close. So Absolutely. It's just a lot of upfront work, finding the deal, underwriting it, making sure it makes sense, making sure it works. And then when you get to the point of having to spend money, you're at the point of dealing with a lender that's going to get you a loan. So it really is much easier.
Absolutely. And you've seen this because you teach to this, and you are hitting the nail on the head, but you actually teach to this. The biggest obstacle people say when getting involved in real estate is that down payment, and though that 40,000 to 50,000 costs, and the down payment. That's the hugest obstacle when getting into those larger deals. How do you teach your students in your monopoly class, in your multifamily monopoly course? How do you recommend? Is it just get out there and hustle? What do you recommend to overcome that obstacle?
Well, first thing you're doing is you're talking to people, right? So everybody knows what you do, what you're doing. And I always start with the people closest to me. So I would come to you, Marcus, and I say, hey, Marcus, man, we're doing a 108 unit deal in Decatur, Alabama. And we are in the process of raising $5 million. This is what it looks like. This is the return my investors are going to get. We're going to be in this deal about 2 years, and we'll get half the money out. And then when we sell it in 7 years, it costs us $17 million. It's probably going to be worth $22 million. We're going to cut up some money. You know anybody interested? And you're going to look past me and go, well, why you ain't ask me? And I'm saying, oh, I didn't know you was interested. Here's my pitch deck. If you got 50,000, you're accredited investor. So that's the way I teach my students to do that. So, but you got to be good at this, and good. So what is the good part? Because in real estate, it takes one of three things to get a deal done. It takes experience, it takes cash, or it takes the ability to put people together that have the money and the cash or the experience. So you can bring one of those three to the table, or the fourth thing could be a deal. You could find a deal that makes sense and bring it to a guy like me. And if it really makes sense, then we'll partner up and we'll get it done. If you don't have a deal and you've got experience, then you can come to a guy like me and say, hey, man, I got experience in doing this. I'd love to help you doing what you're doing. Or if you've got money, surely you can come to a guy like me. But the last thing is you really just have to you got to be good at this storytelling, right? So if I can find a deal, I can paint the picture of what this car is going to look like 5 years from now, 10 years from now. It's really sparkly and good, and it's going to make all this money. And if you can master the art of storytelling, then you can get somebody interested enough to at least listen, and then you can make your presentation. And then, on your first deal, you're not going to be raising $5 million. Or I don't think you will. You may have somebody jumps off the bridge, and then at that point, you may, because you're doing a deal that big, you may need a sponsor or somebody that's already done one. And so then you can tie that experience of your sponsor into your story, and then anybody's willing to listen. I mean, like I said, we're raising $5 million now. And so I'm on a podcast parade, man. I'm letting everybody know. And I've been on Clubhouse since December 1st. And I can't tell you how many hours a day I've spent telling my story. And telling that story has gotten, here I am with you, the number one podcast in America. And I've just made so many relationships, man, that are going to be very valuable just talking to people. So that's all it takes. This isn't hard. I didn't go to college, barely finished high school. And that was, I was number 348 out of 350. My mama was a high school teacher, and they didn't want to embarrass her anymore. So Alvin, here you go. This isn't rocket science, man. If you can do math and figure out numbers and figure out how to solve problems, then you win. That's all.
We are going to touch on some of that math here shortly. We will be right back. We got one more commercial break, y'all. We have Mr. Alvin Johnson of Hope Foundation, and we will be right back. Stay tuned, stay engaged, and he is also taking questions. So if you got questions about your next real estate deal, the man of the hour is here, y'all. We'll be right back. Talk to you soon.
Are you a local business looking to offer your customers easy access to cash without having to travel miles? We're here to help. At Norman Legacy Investments, we provide free ATMs with free installation that provide a suitable investment for your business. Even better, we offer you some profit sharing and handle everything from start to finish. Just reach out to us today to schedule a free consultation.
Welcome back, everybody. This is Marcus Norman from Gentleman Style Podcast, and we have the incredible Mr. Alvin Johnson of Hope Foundation, serial entrepreneur, John Maxwell, motivational speaker, and he is absolutely killing the game. Mr. Johnson, tell us. I saw this check and my jaw hit the floor, and I think my audience jaw will hit the floor. Can you break this down on what my audience? Can you see the screen?
Yes, sir.
Can you break this check down of what we are looking at here?
Yes, sir. So what you see there, I hope you're doing well. I've attached copies. So, that was a letter I sent to my investors, letting them know what they were to expect. So what you see there is my investors made a $50,000 investment into one of our syndicated deals. What they had received prior to this deal was they had received $16,000 in interest payments on that $50,000. They also got a check for $54.89, which were some accrued distributions, which means they made $21,489 on a $50,000 investment, so almost 50%. Plus, they got an extra 7,763 cents as part of the equity that the property made. So they made a total of 17, 23, 28, 29,000 off of a $50,000 investment. So they made about 54% return on their money. Plus, they got their money back.
That is what he's talking about, y'all. This is the numbers Mr. Alvin Johnson is changing the absolute game with. That is powerful. Thank you for breaking that down for us.
Yes, sir.
I feel like some of us have missed the train. We're going through a pandemic. 14 million Americans are unemployed. some people feel that they've missed the train on a good real estate deal. Is it too late? Have we missed the train, or is there hope? Like
There's
your
always
foundation.
hope. See my middle name. It's always hope. You never miss the train. I'll tell you, the thing that stops more people from doing anything is fear. Take everything we want is on the other side of what we don't want to do.
True. That's true.
Yeah,
that's true.
I want a 6-pack ab, but I don't want to go to the gym.
And so I gotta ask, right? All those millions of Americans, I'm sure you've experienced some tenants unfortunately weren't able to pay. Some may have even experienced job loss. How have you kept your real estate empire afloat going through 2020 and going into the new year?
Only by the grace of God, Marcus. I'll tell you, March 21st, I put my head in my hand. That was the day everything in Texas got shut down. I didn't know if my residents were going to be able to pay their rent and if we were going to be able to pay our mortgages. I did not know. And I said, God, man, I got to make a choice right now. I can either choose to be pitiful and keep crying and go home and put my head in the sand and hope it works out, or I can keep coming to work, trusting you and knowing it's going to work out. We didn't have to get any forbearance agreements on any of our debt. Couple of our properties, 100% of the rents have been paid. On the other ones, we've written off about $300,000 in debt from our tenants, because realistically, we'll never get it back. And why put out 50 people and have to worry about where they go and worry about releasing the apartments? So we wiped everybody's slate clean January 31st and chalked that up and said we're going to start over fresh January 1st, and we're going to trust God that this is going to work out. And man, this has been so good. I mean, it's amazing. I mean, you cannot give God, and when you do stuff like that, man, he just opens the windows of heaven and just showers you. And that's how we've made it.
Amen. Amen. That was a word.
If I am, it ain't my problem, it's theirs. Sorry.
Nah, they don't belong on this show. My audience,
okay.
we are in one accord, brother. Amen. Okay. You gave a word just now. Oh my gosh. That is major. So you have been blessed, brother, and you have given nuggets. How do you analyze a deal? How do you know a deal is a good deal? And is that probably why you recommend partnering up with experts to do a syndication?
Absolutely. There's so many dynamics to what makes a deal good. For us, it has to be over 100 units because the economy of scale does not work with anything less than that for us, because you got to have a full-time maintenance person and a full-time manager. So in order to do that, the economy of scale, it could go down as low as 80 units, but that's at a very absolute minimum. So that's where it starts for us. And then, if depending on what you're paying for it, some deals could be good. I don't care where it is or how bad it is if the price is right. And then there are other deals that I don't care how much they cost. If it's in a bad location, I may not take it today because today we have reputational risk, right? I wouldn't buy a deal in South Side of Chicago that I don't know anything about high rises and managing that kind of stuff, because that's going to be a disaster for us, where it could work out for you. So there's just so many nuances. And of course, what makes a pretty wife, right? To you, that's one thing. To me, that's something else. To Joe, is somebody else. So it really just depends on your risk tolerance and how hard you want to work as to what makes a good deal.
That is phenomenal. That's incredible. And that's real, right? Every person is unique, and every person has their own comfort levels, right? For example, people always ask, how much money should I keep in reserves? Well, that is a personal decision. Grant Cardone talks about he doesn't keep any savings when he invests in real estate. He doesn't believe in having savings. That's his comfort level. So asking an expert like you, what's the right deal, or it all is personal. It's very personal. Now, an expert like you would recommend, because you had the knowledge, because you have the experience, don't do these upgrades because they're a waste of time. a lot of us will see, well, I want to put this type of countertop to improve the quality of house so I can collect more rent. Well, you're wasting your money because the people in this area or in this demographic don't even care about marble granite tops. They just want to eat their cereal, right?
And Marcus, that's a really good point, because it depends on how long you're going to keep that asset. So now we are refinancing 512 of our units to the tune of about $48 million next month, and we are going to spend about $20,000 a unit on each of those, and we're putting in solid surface countertops, solid surface around the bathtubs, and these are affordable units with a lot of Section 8 residents. Well, why would I spend that kind of money doing that? Well, because when they move out, we have to either refinish the countertops or we have to rebuild the countertops. That could cost us anywhere from $500 to $800 to $1,000. So we're going to spend this $1,500 one time on granite and not have to do that again, so that for the next 5 years, our maintenance costs go to almost zero.
You see the level of y'all. You see the imagination and the creativity and the expertise just shown just there. That just came out like that. He just bam off the cuff. Nothing. That is why I had to get him on the show. You all have no idea. I was very adamant about getting Mr. Johnson on the show. And brother, you are incredible. How can people invest with you? You brought that up earlier. Can people invest with you, get in connected with you, and how can what's the minimum investment required?
Okay, so can people invest with us? Yes, they can. What I recommend is I like to talk to all of our investors first. I love to do this face to face or literally face to face. All money is not good money, right? Because I won't take anybody's last investment. Well, and fortunately, we do two kind of funds. We do a 506B and a 506C. The 506B is where you can take in non-accredited investors, and typically, I've never done one of those, but our next one is gonna be that. Typically, we do a 506C, which includes accredited investors, which means you either have $1 million net worth, not including your personal home, or if you're single, you have a personal income of $200,000 or greater for the last 2 or 3 years with no expected change, or a married couple has to make $300,000 or more to be considered accredited. So typically our deals have been with accredited investors. Now our next one is going to be with non-accredited, but the minimum investment is typically $50,000. And so you saw on that deal that I had posted on IG, that $50,000 investment made our investor about, what was it, $32,000 or something, plus they got their money back. And that was a 4.5 year period. So again, you don't have any, this is not get rich quick. You're not going to put 50,000 in there today and then ask me when I'm going to get my money back. And because it don't work like that. And so we ask in all of our offerings that it's up to 5 years, minimum of 2 up to 5 years. So when our investors get ready, do they take that? Do I take food stamps? Only if you can go sell them and bring me the bag. We'll take it.
That's a lot of food stamp.
That's hey, Lone Star card. If you can slide it through our zone and get 50,000 off of it, we'll take it. But that's
$50,000 minimum investment.
Yeah.
Is it a requirement to take your multifamily monopoly course?
It is not.
Okay.
It is not. But you know what? And one of the things that we're doing, I'll tell you about that. So in that education platform, we have a master class recording that I've done. It has 48 modules to it. We sell that thing for $24.95, and it's yours. You have it. Marcus, when we get the link set up, I'm going to send you an affiliate link to where if you want to, you can pass 40% off to your members, or you can keep the money, however you want to do it. But I'm gonna pass that along to you. So that masterclass recording is basically, I teach everything that it takes for us to buy a deal. And then we had a deal. We have a live boot camp where we teach it virtually for 8 weeks. And then we include a couple of site visits to our properties or one that we're buying, so that not only are we showing you theory on the screen, but then on a site visit, we take you out and literally show you the mistakes I made, what we did do, what we didn't do, why I should have done it. So we have a couple of visits like that. And what happened, that boot camp was $5,000. But what happened, I would spend that much time with our students and they would spend that much money, and then they go out and bang their head against the wall and not be able to participate in a deal. So we've changed that a little bit more. And then I had a 6-month and a 12-month coaching program. The 12-month coaching program was $50,000. And then the same thing, guys would pay me $50,000. I'd coach them. They come to my office a couple of days a week whenever they want to, because I'm open like that. 12 months later, they still haven't found a deal because either they're afraid to do it by themselves or they don't know, they don't have the experience and they need a sponsor. So what we've done is we have put all of those together with our new building platform, because now our construction company is building all of our own apartments. So if I had 20 students that have 50,000, I would put them into a limited partnership. We would build them a brand new 27-unit, $4 million building. Their 50,000 would qualify that partnership to be the owner. So all of my students actually are owners of the building at the end of the process. And that's how we have restructured our boot camp for that.
Wow.
So $50,000 investment. There's a cost to teach us. I'm not going to talk about that right now. But if you just say that somebody's got 80, 90,000 bucks and they want to know how to do this, they can invest 50,000 into themselves, because that's the investment. I think our cost is going to be somewhere 25 or 30,000, but there's so many benefits. So what do you get for something like that? First of all, you get to be a piece of a $4 million building when we finish it. And then in about 3 years, it'll be worth $5 million bucks. So you own a fifth of that. So right there, you got all your money back. I mean, in 4 years, you'll get all your money back. Plus you get a whole lot of tax write-offs. So that building is $4 million bucks. You get to depreciate that over 29 years. So, I mean, you could probably write off on a $50,000 investment about $7,000 a year as a write-off. You'll get about $6,000 a year as a distribution in paid cash interest on your money. So, which is almost tax-free because you're writing off $7,000 and you get, you know what I mean? So that's
right.
Plus, at the end of the day, when you sell that thing, you don't get all your money back. Plus, you're going to make at least 25 or 30% in just forced depreciation. So you're paying me to put you in a serious position to win in about 4 or 5 years. And then you have now you've got the experience to where if you like that, you go find 15 more of your other friends and put them in a deal that you can go do it by yourself. The experience. That's right. So that's where we've taken the education platform. None of these guys that are teaching multifamily are putting their students in ownership of deals. Nobody. No. So that's the game changer.
That's phenomenal. You're right. I don't think I've known anyone doing that.
No. Yeah, because they don't control the process. We control the process because we're building the building.
Oh my gosh. And you're teaching them along the way, right?
Absolutely. So the students are involved in everything from the land acquisition, the development, the whole 9 yards. Wow. If it's a situation where we've already acquired the land, then part of the process is to teach and walk you through what we had to do to get there, because I can't say that, we're going to go out and acquire land right now and then get it entitled. So we're working on a lot of deals right now where the land is going to be ready so that we can. My goal is to literally plug 200 students this year into ownership of apartments.
All 50K, y'all. This is Mr. Alvin Johnson on Gentleman Style Podcast. You are not going to get this anywhere else. Well, at least not today, unless you connect with this powerful, incredible man. He is an absolute game changer. Mr. Johnson, what book would you recommend every man or woman should read?
Ooh, man, I'll tell you some of the books I've read, okay, that have really helped me.
Perfect.
How to Win Friends and Influence People by John Maxwell.
Love that book.
21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership.
Love
John
that book even more.
Put Your Dream to the Test. John Maxwell.
Where's my pen?
Put Your Dream to the Test. Og Mandino. 4 or 5 books by Og Mandino. Very easy reads. 40 pages. Man, best books ever. I think one of them is called The Greatest Salesman Alive. But if you Google Og Mandino, all his books come up. Those are 5th grade education level reads. Read those, and that'll change the way you think about people. It'll change the way you think about sales. Those have been really, really good for me. And then I'm a self-improvement guru, nut. So all of the Audible books in my phone are on, and all the books in my office and at home are on self-improvement by somebody or another.
That's incredible. That is incredible. What is your favorite way? You've dropped sprinkle nuggets throughout this whole episode. What is your favorite way to give back?
Man, you know what I love to do, Marcus? I love to make people's dreams come true. Zig Ziglar said it, and I'm gonna paraphrase, but he said, the more people you can help make their dreams come true, the easier it is for yours to come true. So for me, everybody wants to do real estate. So I love to teach people how to do real estate. I love to put people in ownership. I love to move residents into an apartment that looks like something they never thought they would live in. I love that. So my giving back comes from the education space and also really trying to change the trajectory of people's lives. We like to have our communities look like, and a lot of time, most of them, our affordable properties are in areas that look like us most of the time, African-American, Hispanic predominantly. And so those kids a lot of times are used to seeing everybody slinging dope from the stoop and hanging out. And I want to give the kids an opportunity to see something different. I want them to see that people actually go to work every day. I want them to see that, hey, a dude that looks like them that barely finished high school owns this $30 million development. When I pull up in the parking lot, I'm a part of the community. Our residents know my car. They come to me. The kids run to me because I'm a part of the community. So that's my give back, man. I'll give you a little bit of insight about me from that help makes who I am. And I'm going to talk about some stuff that most men don't want to talk about or won't talk about it. So at 9 years old, Marcus, I was molested. At 11 years old, my daddy left me. So what I mean by that? He divorced my mom, but as a kid, we take it personal. So he left me. But at 13, my mom sat me down at the kitchen table and she showed me her core values. She didn't call it that, but her core values were, she made like $1,100 to $1,300 a month or something like that as a school teacher, gross. And she showed me that, Alvin, the first thing I do is I pay my tithe on my gross. And then I pay our house note. And then I pull out your lunch money and then our gas money. And by the end of the day on the first, we got $83 left. So she taught me that principle of tithing. Fast forward. By the time I was 18, I was 17, graduated high school, afraid to be by myself. Daddy left me. All these abandonment issues, being molested. Don't even know what that really did to me, but it probably jacked me up somewhere. God really protected me from myself because for a number of years, probably about 20 years, I literally forgot that happened to me. But I'm gonna fast forward. So then at 17, I talked my high school sweetheart out of going to college and to staying with me. So we got married. I was scared to be by myself. Didn't go to college, so I had to get a job. So I started painting. I was a painter's helper, painting closets in $1 million houses in Beaumont, Texas in 1984. 2 years later, the guy I was working for go out of business. I started knocking on doors. I'll paint your house for $200 if you buy the paint. One day I knocked on the right door, and I was doing really good. And I knocked on the right door, and this guy was doing a hotel, and he gave me that job as a paint contractor and asked me could I get a crew. So all the guys, none of them looked like me, that threw me in closets for 2.5 years were now working for me on this hotel job. And I was a millionaire by the time I was 23 years old with money in the bank. Okay. Now, that job lasted a year, and we were spending money like it was growing on trees, and I was investing money in my business. I didn't know any better. Nobody I knew had any money. So by the time my son was 3 years old, we were broke. No money. Interest rates back then were 18, 19%. I could not get a job because nobody was doing any home improvements or building any houses. So on his third birthday, I tried to kill myself. Put a 38 to my head, pulled the trigger, the gun didn't go off. And I took a bottle of nitroglycerin pills. Those nitroglycerin pills, size of a pinhead, they go in your blood system. They're for heart patients, and they explode in your system to make your heart pump. Well, I figured, I'll take 1,000 of these. This will do the job, since the gun didn't. Well, man, I remember Marcus laying on that couch, and I said, God, man, if you got a purpose for me, then I'll be okay, and I'll be okay. You'll have mercy on me. But if you don't have a purpose for me, please have mercy on me, because I heard it's hot down there. So, man, 10 days later, I wake up in the hospital in intensive care and looking around, I said, man, you really are a loser. You couldn't even kill yourself. So from going to the highest of highs at 24 to the lowest of lows where I didn't even think I could kill myself, that planted a seed in me that I cannot quit, because I can't even give up. I tried to give up. So from a low like that, man, God nurtured me back to health through my family, and has allowed me to be here to do what I do. So I'm money motivated through our nonprofit, but the money motivation doesn't come so Alvin can go get rich. The money motivation comes so that we can go out and see more people, talk to more people, put more people in housing, and literally change people's lives. So if that's why God left me here for this season of my life, then that's why I'm here. And that's why I do what I do.
Mr. Alvin, amen. Mr. Alvin, brother, I appreciate that. I was not expecting that at all. And that I felt that here in my heart. And thank you for sharing that with me. Thank you for sharing that with my audience and being transparent. Oh my gosh.
And Marcus, let me say, I don't say that for pity, because I'm good, right? They say a lifetime, a undealt with trauma leads to a lifetime of drama. And so if me sharing that can help somebody else not go through a lifetime of drama because of undealt with trauma, then that's what I'm doing. I can tell you, I'm probably your dad's age, but I can tell you there's so many men he knows that had the same thing happen to them. They never talked about it. They hide their feelings in a freaking alcohol bottle. They're alcoholics. They beat their wives and run out on the kids and do all that garbage. And if I can really just share my story, man, go get your old man and make him watch this, right? Do that for the next old man that that is sitting around thinking it's too late. He's 50 years old and he giving up on life. Man, please. There's a thing, Marcus, that I have. It's almost true. 20 through 30, most people are just starting their lives and getting their families together and et cetera. 30 through 40, people that do it right are raising kids and getting kids out of school and finding their way in their careers. 40 to 50, kids are usually gone or getting out of the house about that time. And they're starting to figure out what they like to do. And they become good at it. 50 to 60, they master that thing. And 60 and above, mastery has kicked in, and that's when greatness happens. If you look, most of our presidents have been over 60 years old, with the exception of 2 or 3 of them, right? Of course, Google and all the tech world and stuff like that have made it to where you can have a 15-year-old billionaire. But for the most part, most people, look at KFC, Colonel Sanders and all Henry Ford, and all these guys didn't hit massive success until they were over 50 years old. So for all the millennials out there that have grown up with an app in their hand and eating microwave popcorn because shit happens just like this, man, get real. You will not get rich overnight unless you create an app like freaking Clubhouse or Facebook. Just go do the work. And I promise you, small steps in the right direction every day will get you where you want to be.
Facts, big facts. Mr. Johnson, how can my audience connect with you? How can we support you, and how can we reach out and reach you?
AlvinHopeJohnson.com is my website. It's being completely redone. So if you guys go there, you'll see it. It's up. It's good, but we're having it redone. And I get emails from there. I have a Alvin Hope Johnson Facebook and Instagram. I answer all my DMs, all my messages, so you can hit me there. And then if you go to Clubhouse, if you're on Clubhouse, look me up. I got a phone number in my bio on Clubhouse. So I set aside every Wednesday to take calls from people that off of Clubhouse or from wherever they are. I just send out links to my Calendly and do free coaching or free whatever, just conversations on Wednesday. So that's it.
That's incredible, y'all. Please connect with Mr. Alvin Johnson and the Hope Foundation and connect with him, subscribe to him, tune into him. I've tuned into him. I've linked in with him, and I am growing just from what I've seen. This man is phenomenal. This man is impactful, and he is absolutely a game changer. And he means everything he does with his heart, and he leads with love. Mr. Johnson, brother, I got to give you back. I know you on the grind. I appreciate you, brother, taking time out of your busy schedule to give back to my audience and me on Gentleman Style Podcast today. I appreciate you. Thank you for serving your community today.
Marcus, thank you, man. God bless you. God bless your audience.
Absolutely. And thank you all, my audience, for tuning in to Gentleman Style Podcast today. Thank you for tuning in to the show. I hope this has served you. I hope this has blessed you. It has definitely blessed me. And we have to give back to our communities and change the world like Mr. Johnson, connect with like minds. So like I always say, everyone, take care of your families, take care of your homes, and take care of business. This is Marcus Norman from Gentleman Style Podcast and Mr. Alvin Hope Johnson. Oh, you had one thing to say?
Yes, sir. Dream on, dreamer.
Dream on, dreamer. Love it. That's his saying, y'all. Once you subscribe, that's his thing. Take care of your families and take care of your homes and take care of business. This is Marcus Norman from Gentleman Style Podcast and Mr. Alvin Hope Johnson. See you guys soon. Love you guys. Bye.